High winds close a major winter attraction, but officials hope bright lights will open again soon. Plus, a very special retirement from the Windsor Police Service, but this dog is definitely not slowing down. A live look outside here where the wind is blowing and snowflakes are in the forecast. We'll have a full look at the details when Nick Sirkovich joins us later tonight. I'm Chris Ensing. Thanks for watching. What a windy day it has been. Signs and trees knocked over this morning, continuing throughout the afternoon, and now strong enough to cancel tonight's Bright Lights festivities. With more, we go live to the CBC's Sanjay Maru. Sanjay, how bad is it out there?
Well, Chris, let me tell you, it is cold where I'm standing. That wind you mentioned not helping a bit. And what this has turned into is a very atypical night here at Bright Lights. You can see the area here in Jackson Park fenced off behind me, the sign reading that the park is closed tonight. No bright lights for the public. In fact, I was back here a few hours ago, and you'll notice many of the displays had been knocked over due to that wind. Take a look at these images from just before 4 o'clock this afternoon. Some of those displays that had knocked over actually fell onto the walking path. Safety being the main reason why the city elected to cancel tonight's Bright Lights event. It's the first time the city has done so due to high winds in the event's 3-year history, but officials are making it clear this is likely just a temporary closure of the damage you're seeing. It appears there's nothing that's too serious, nothing that cannot be fixed. Chris.
We can hear the wind there roaring behind you. Tonight, actually, we had you heading to Bright Lights anyway because it's sensory-friendly night. What exactly is the city doing differently on those kind of nights?
Well, that's right, Chris. Mondays here at Bright Lights usually serve as sensory-friendly nights, and what that means is that the city sets up certain conditions for people who are enjoying the lights, people with sensory sensitivities to come and enjoy the sights of this event. Now, we want to show you a piece that we put together last week. As you mentioned, I was back here this past Monday. I brought a camera out to Jackson Park during last week's sensory-friendly night. We also had another reporter go out with the camera later in the week. The goal was to compare the experiences of Silent Night here at Bright Lights versus any other night in the week. Take a look.
Though strobe light caution signs are left up during the entirety of Bright Lights Windsor, there's no strobe lighting to be found on Mondays. Here's the difference, starting with the centerpiece of Bright Lights Windsor, the large Christmas tree. Strobe effects turned on every day except Monday. Here's another example. This is the nativity scene display on Mondays. The major difference on any other night, however, lighting effects on the Star of David. Sensory-friendly Mondays also mean no music anywhere in Jackson Park. Compare this to any other night.
And of course, with tonight's closure, that means that sensory-friendly night will have to wait until next week. That means there's just one sensory-friendly night, one silent night left to go here at Bright Lights before the event ends this year. That's expected to happen on January 7th. Chris.
Thanks, Sanjay. And if you want to, at home, go to our Facebook page. You can actually see a 360 video of what it looks like for people who may not have a chance to pop out and enjoy that. A popular Lebanese restaurant that burnt down last year plans to reopen in Windsor. This is what is left of that restaurant on Wyandotte Street East. On January 3rd, a fire tore through the building's interior, causing about $1.2 million worth of damage. Fire officials at the time suggested that it may have been caused by an electrical failure. But this week, after going silent on social media since the fire, the owners announced that it's reopening in South Windsor.
Long-time customers, they're our favorite. They're so loyal. We keep in touch with them the whole time. And they always ask us when you're going to reopen. So now we're going to see them again.
The new El Mayor will open at the Union Square Plaza just beside Devonshire Mall. An exact date still to be determined, but the goal is to have the restaurant up and running again by March.
I'm proud to announce that Windsor Regional Hospital hit a staggering 99.8% of the 2600 plus standards and was awarded accreditation with exemplary status.
Windsor Regional Hospital is celebrating today. That's the highest accreditation standing that's possible from Accreditation Canada. It's a not-for-profit organization that goes around and accredits healthcare and social service organizations. The rating of 99.8% puts Windsor Regional in the exemplary standing category. It's based on patient care and safety. This comes in the wake of another report saying that Ontario hospitals are the leanest in the country, spending less per capita than any other province, and that any further cuts may lead to reduced public access to vital services. Windsor police are looking for a suspect related to an armed robbery over the weekend. They released this photo here of the suspect. Police say that he entered a convenience store on Walker Road near Ledyard Avenue Saturday night. He was wearing a black mask, gray hoodie, and had a firearm. He demanded cash and then fled on foot. The suspect is described as a white man between 5'8" and 6 foot tall. Police are reminding people that the suspect is considered armed and dangerous and should not be approached. There is fear and anxiety in Orthodox Jewish neighborhoods in New York State tonight after Saturday's horrific stabbing attack at a Hanukkah gathering north of New York City. Now, we're learning more about the accused today. He's been charged with hate crimes, and many who knew him say that he struggled with mental illness for decades. Jacqueline Henson reports.
The lawyer for the alleged attacker defended his client today. He said that Grafton Thomas has a long history of mental illness, but no history of anti-Semitism.
We were able this morning to go to the home, Reverend Page and I, and review scores of papers which frankly show the ramblings of a disturbed individual, but there is no suggestion in any of those ramblings and pages of writing of an anti-Semitic motive.
But in a filing of federal hate crime charges against Thomas today, officials allege otherwise. The filing says it appears that several pages in the journals express anti-Semitic sentiments, and that Thomas's phone showed online searches for Hitler and Jewish temples near me. Jewish community members are shaken. The knife attack was just the latest of more than a dozen attacks on Jewish people in that area in the past month.
As a community, as a county, we are fighting back, regardless of what the motivations are, regardless of what the investigations reveal. The fact of the matter is we cannot sit around and do nothing.
The county where the latest attack happened announced that it's partnering with the private sector for help with security.
And we decided to step up and provide immediately, as of yesterday afternoon, an armed security patrol comprised of off-duty or retired FBI agents, state police, and NYPD detectives who are highly conditioned and highly trained to help to minimize a reoccurrence of this horrible event.
New York City's mayor has also promised an increased police presence as well as other safety initiatives.
We're going to have patrols of community folks who go out working with the NYPD from a variety of ethnic backgrounds to make sure, particularly if young people are in any way, shape, or form thinking of getting involved in hate crimes and anything negative, that there's intervention.
Some other New York municipal and state politicians are calling for even more to be done. In an open letter, several wrote, "It is no longer safe to be identifiably Orthodox in the state of New York. We cannot shop, walk down a street, send our children to school, or even worship in peace." They say they've been sounding the alarm on this for a long time, and now they're asking the governor to declare this a state of emergency. Jacqueline Hanson, CBC News, Washington.
Bushfires fanned by high winds are on the move in southeastern Australian state of Victoria. Thousands of locals and visitors have been told to get out before fires close the roads.
We've had a challenging day in Victoria, and what we've seen up until today is more than 70 new fires in the state.
Extreme temperatures have made this one of Australia's worst ever fire seasons. 8 people dead, including 1 volunteer firefighter today. More than 4 million hectares in 5 states have been destroyed since September. Temperatures spiked at over 40 degrees Celsius today. The threat of lightning has fueled new fire danger alerts. From drug addiction to drag, a Windsor man turned his life around within 1 year, saying that drag is his escape from reality. And now he wants to do it professionally. Tamina Aziz has a story.
Hi, my name is Liam Ingram, otherwise known as Benzmanova, and I'm a Windsor-based drag queen.
At 21, Liam knows he wants to tour the world, performing as a professional drag queen. But that wasn't the case a year and a half ago. He was struggling with his drug addiction to crystal meth.
I was this goody two-shoes kid in grade school saying, I'll never touch weed, or I'll not, like, people who smoke weed are low lives, or all that sort of stuff, like very ignorant to it, to now being a full-on drug addict, needle user, that's scavenging the streets and meeting up with random men online to get a quick fix or to feel good about myself.
After smoking and snorting crystal meth for months, Liam injected himself with a needle that was given to him by a stranger he met online, later finding out that he contracted HIV from it.
When I found out he was HIV positive, I thought it was a death sentence.
It was difficult for his mom to watch him at his lowest point one weekend in Toronto when he began selling his body for drugs.
Next morning, he came downstairs and I said, "Who are you? I don't even know who you are. Somewhere inside of that man is my son, and I want you to tell that son of mine I refuse to bury him." And I gave him an ultimatum and told him that if he was going to continue to do the drugs, he'd have to pack his bags and move out or seek help.
Liam says it was that moment when he knew he needed to change. His mother is the closest person to him. He nearly lost her at the age of 3 from a car accident, but says she fought to stay alive for him.
If my mom chose to live for me, then now I have to choose to live for my mother.
He agreed to go to rehab and was admitted to Brentwood Recovery Home for a 3-month treatment program. A month after his program ended, he attended his first live drag show in Windsor, inspiring him to try drag himself.
And what does drag mean to you?
Drag is an expression of yourself that reality can't really meet. So I can be anyone that I want to be at any time.
Liam's done drag for about 7 months. He continues to perfect his look, develop his skills, and perform as often as he can. His mom says she's proud of him and supports him.
These tears are tears of joy, really, because I love him.
Among his accomplishments, he's also 16 months sober, and with his HIV medication, he's now at undetectable levels. Now he's ready to show the world who Benzmanova is. Tamina Aziz, CBC News, Windsor.
What a story. University of Windsor law professor Julie McFarlane is being appointed to the Order of Canada. The honor was unveiled by the federal government on Friday. She's known for her work on a resource that's helping people represent themselves in the court system. Now, also on that list is acclaimed filmmaker James Cameron and former Prime Minister Stephen Harper. A 4-legged member of Windsor's Paw Patrol is hanging up his leash. As our Amy Dodge reports, Vegas is hitting retirement with about as much enthusiasm as he had during his career.
With his handler, Sergeant Rob Wilson, at his side, Vegas enters his retirement announcement with a lot of energy and a lot to say. It seems this level of enthusiasm is a very distinctive characteristic of Vegas.
Nonstop. He's nonstop when he's at home, when he's at work. He's just, he's one of those dogs that doesn't lay down, and he just goes all the time.
But this determination is what initially attracted the police service to Vegas. The Belgian Malinois joined Windsor Police in September 2011 after being imported from Germany.
He was primarily selected because myself and Sergeant Wilson at the time observed a video of this police dog, this potential police dog searching for a ball for over 5 minutes. And Officer Wilson at that time looked at me and said, "We need to have this dog."
He kept the drive to hunt for his 8 years in service. After the course of his career, Vegas has helped police with 67 arrests in Windsor. He has found handguns and suspects.
Because of how slender the dog is, they lifted him and hoisted him into the ceilings. Moments later, barking was heard. The suspect would not give up, and the dog was used to pull him to a safe place to place him under arrest.
But while the police dog edges into retirement, the work Vegas will make for his handler is far from over. His high energy will require daily runs by Wilson to keep him busy.
To describe Vegas, I had to bring in, 5 yards of sand in my backyard just to, minimize the damage to my backyard, because he just circles all the time because he just wants to work all the time. And that's him in the back of my truck or in the backyard. He's always wanting to work.
With Vegas entering retirement, Wilson will leave the police dog unit altogether. But he won't be leaving his four-legged partner anytime soon. Amy Dodge, CBC News, Windsor.
A possum story there, you could say. It's good. I like Vegas as the name for a dog, too. Absolutely wonderful. We take a look outside here, a little calm, considering what we had Sanjay out in there earlier. But it looks like we could be getting some snowflakes tonight, tomorrow. It could be how we start the new decade. We'll take a full look at the forecast after this. Wild bit of wind out there today. Bright lights canceled tonight, as we told you earlier. But this mild weather has actually been good news for a golf course out in Essex County. Lucky golfers, they're being able to tap in an extra 18. And on Friday, I met one man who really made it count.
16th hole, par 3. It was 102 yards. Jeff used the gap wedge. One bounce and in. Hole in one today. December 27th, it was 50 degrees at 6 a.m. this morning. I knew we were in for a good day.
We were actually very lucky. We didn't anticipate even having to get a tee time, and when we arrived here shortly before 9 o'clock, they said there were no tee times available. Luckily for us, they were able to join us with a twosome, and we got off at 9:30. It's funny because a couple of years ago at Fox Glen Golf Course, it was December with a wind chill factor below freezing, and the same thing happened. And to think that my only 2 hole-in-ones were in December, freezing golf, lucky to even have a golf course open. Well, welcome to Windsor and Essex County.
I witnessed that one, by the way, too.
You were there for that one too?
Yeah.
What's he like in the summer? Like, is he any good of a golfer when the conditions are perfect?
Yeah, he's a good golfer. No question.
Yeah, it's just, it's uncanny. It's like, what are the odds of getting a hole-in-one in the first place? To have it twice in December is unbelievable.
You had to make that one. You're on TV. Hey, way to go.
Nick, 2 holes. When I met this guy, when I met Jeff, I said, there's no way you're going to tell me that you sunk a hole-in-one par 3 on the day that I come with the camera. And he goes, yeah, you should have showed up earlier.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's brilliant. What a great way to end 2019, right?
Oh, right? Fantastic. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, amazing. Well, you know, the weather today was pretty incredible, really. It's 6 degrees down in Windsor. Other areas across southern Ontario hitting double digits. But Mother Nature just can't seem to make up her mind. The weather keeps changing. And in fact, by tonight and tomorrow, we're looking at more winter-like conditions. So it's a good thing they got out on the golf course now. Temperatures are falling, and then we've got snowfall in the forecast for tonight. Not a lot of snow, but enough to slick up the roads. But a warm-up is coming soon as we head toward the end of the week. So up and down in our forecast. Temperatures right now sitting at 2 degrees. We were earlier at 6 degrees in Windsor. Similar temperatures across the region. Here's what we're looking at right now. So a little bit of cloud cover out there. You see the blue on the radar. That's snowfall. And what's happened is the same system that's brought warm weather is now past, and in behind it, we're dragging in some colder weather, and you've got the snow on the backside of this system, and that's typically where we get a lot of this snowfall. So we'll have to watch it coming up over the next little while. The snow is going to move in as we head through tonight, and here's how it sort of plays out. By tomorrow morning, about 3 centimeters of snow. But I will say this, that again, we tend to get more in the way of snow on the backside of these systems, so some areas may actually see more than that. Don't be surprised if you wake up to it. And then through tomorrow afternoon, sort of tapers off to light snow, and then as we head through the evening hours, a few flurries to ring in the new year. Temperatures down to about -2 degrees tomorrow. And by the time we hit Wednesday at 8 a.m., let's face it, pretty much nobody's going to be awake because that's New Year's Day. But if you are, things are going to clear out and you'll see the sunshine heading into Wednesday. There's a look at the forecast accumulations. Don't take these numbers as they are. They could vary a little bit by a few centimeters here. So generally, we're looking at about 3 to 5 centimeters of snow across the region over the next 24 hours. Temperatures tonight down to 0 degrees. Wind gusts, though, still gusting up to about 60 kilometers per hour as we move through tonight. Tomorrow, gusts as much as about 70 kilometers per hour. Even heading into the midnight hour, we're still looking at winds that will be around 30, 40 kilometers per hour sustained winds. So wind chills, a factor for tomorrow. Wind chills down around -9, -10 as we head toward the new year. There's a look at the forecast coming up in the long ranges. Like I said, the snow doesn't stick around. By Friday, we're looking at rainfall as much as 15 to 25 millimeters in the forecast.
Wow. It's really interesting. We end the year sort of the same way that it's been all year for the people in Chatham-Kent there. Thinking of those folks who live along Lake Erie, the water raising up because of these winds, right?
And we're back in, exactly, the winds, and then we're back into the rain. And the winds are out of the southwest as well, which is, of course, what affects them.
I tell you, tough to hear. All right, thanks, Nick.
You bet.
Take a look at this beautiful photo here. After hearing we might get a little bit of snow, we thought we'd show a little bit of sun. This is a picture that Cindy sent in, and we really appreciate her sending it our way. And if you have a weather shot taken anywhere in Windsor, Essex, it could be the photo of the day. Just send it to us on Facebook or email. You can find us windsor@cbc.ca. We're also on Instagram or Twitter @CBC Windsor for both of those. See this Windsor teen here? She's skating her way to the national championships. Coming up, we will go inside to learn the secret of her success on the ice. 2019 has been a big year for a Windsor teen, and 2020 promises to be even bigger. The young figure skaters headed to the National Skating Championships next month. CBC Windsor's Tamina Aziz caught up with her and her coach at the rink.
Catherine Caron started skating when she was 7 years old. 8 years later, she's competing with some of the country's top skaters.
I can't wait to see what it's like. I've never been to Canadian Championships.
She's excited and proud of herself, especially since she missed out last year by a couple of spots. Caron skates 3 hours a day, almost every day, in addition to going to school.
I love being on the ice. It is so much fun, every moment of it, going to competitions, and I love the community. I have so many friends in skating. I meet so many new people.
She's one of the 3 competitors from Windsor, but the only one competing in the novice women's category.
I'm so excited and so happy for her.
She says she's very supportive of her daughter. Sometimes she'll drive Caron as far as Hamilton for training.
Everywhere, every rink, I'm just follow her. I will be her biggest fan.
My family is so supportive. My mom drives me all the time, all over the place to go skating.
I can see the sparkle in her eye. All the time she put in, she have a heart for it, and she's working really hard. We have to wake up. Sometimes she wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We're looking for all the ice available in the city.
Her coach says she's passionate about skating and is very coachable.
She's a good listener. She works extremely hard. When you see somebody that driven to be successful after all of the hard work and sacrifice, it's just an enjoyment. It makes it worth it.
Caron says she wants to see how far she can go with skating and hopes to compete internationally in the near future. Tamina Aziz, CBC News, Windsor.
Love hearing about the talented folks in our backyard. It is 6:29 p.m. and that's it for CBC Windsor News. You can always go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor. Thanks for watching us. Make sure you have yourself a good evening.